As Amara walked to class, she found the bullies blocking the doorway. She greeted politely, "Good morning." Grace sneered and pushed her back. "Where do you think you're going?" Before Amara could reply, the principal walked down the corridor. The bullies quickly straightened up and slipped into the classroom, pretending nothing had happened. Amara quietly followed and sat at her desk. At break time, she returned to find her school bag and books scattered all over the floor. Pages were torn, pens thrown aside. The bullies sat at their desks, smiling mockingly as she bent down to gather her things. Not a word escaped Amara's lips. She packed everything silently, her dignity intact, though her heart was heavy. "Sit tight, let me tell you a shocking story of Amara and the bullies in the Queen Prestigious Secondary School. Watch till end." The sun rose gently over the city, casting golden light across the walls of Queen's Prestige Secondary School. It was a school unlike any other in the region, filled with the sons and daughters of the wealthy, powerful, and influential. Marble floors, well-trimmed hedges, and shiny school buses gave it an air of pride. Yet, behind the glamour lay a shadow: 5 girls who had turned the school into their kingdom of fear. Veronica, Mary, Glory, Grace, and Vanessa. Their names alone made other students step aside in the hallways. They were the daughters of senators, oil magnates, judges, and generals, families that everyone in the city knew. Their wealth and power shielded them from punishment, and so they ruled the school unchecked. Every morning, when they walked through the gates in their polished shoes and neatly ironed uniforms, students quickly cleared the path. The bullies loved the attention. Veronica, the leader, always strutted forward with her head held high, her hair swaying like a queen's crown. Mary was her shadow, always echoing her words. Glory and Grace worked as enforcers, pushing aside anyone who dared to walk too close. And Vanessa, the sharp-tongued one, finished off their victims with words that cut deeper than sticks. On this particular morning, whispers traveled through the schoolyard. A new student had arrived. Her name was Amara. Amara was unlike most of the students. She was from a modest but respectable background, her father being Senator Daniel, a man known for his integrity rather than his wealth. Amara had transferred to Queen's Prestige Secondary School after her father insisted she deserved the best education. Though her uniform was new, it was simple. Though her shoes were polished, they were not imported brands. But Amara carried something the other girls did not: a quiet confidence and an inner brightness that made her stand out. The first day in class began with a lesson in literature. Mrs. Maigret, their teacher, was known for asking questions that tested not only knowledge but understanding. "Who can tell me the moral lesson in the story of the tortoise and the hare?" she asked, scanning the class. The 5 bullies sat at the front row, waiting, as usual, for everyone to keep silent until one of them gave the answer. That was the unspoken rule. No one answered before them. But Amara, unaware of this silent law, raised her hand immediately. "Yes, young lady. Your name is?" Mrs. Maigret asked. "Amara, ma," she replied softly. "Go ahead, Amara." Amara spoke with ease. "The lesson is that arrogance leads to downfall, while humility and consistency bring success. The hare thought he was too fast, but the tortoise won because he was steady." The class murmured. It was clear and precise. Mrs. Maigret smiled. "Excellent. That is correct. Well done, Amara." From the corner of the room, Veronica's face darkened. Grace exchanged a glare with Glory, while Vanessa hissed under her breath. Mary leaned forward and whispered, "Who does she think she is?" Amara, oblivious to their anger, continued listening attentively. Every question Mrs. Maigret asked that morning, Amara answered swiftly and with confidence. Each correct answer felt like a thorn in the pride of the 5 girls. When the bell rang for break, the bullies marched out together and gathered under the mango tree that had become their unofficial headquarters. Their voices were low but sharp. Veronica crossed her arms. "How dare that girl answer before us? Doesn't she know the rules?" Vanessa scoffed. "Doesn't she know who we are? The families we come from?" Glory cracked her knuckles. "Don't worry, girls. We'll make her regret it. She will learn that nobody shines brighter than us in this school." Grace smirked. "Soon she'll know her place." While they plotted, Amara spent her break quietly in the school library. She loved books and preferred the company of stories to noisy crowds. As she flipped through the pages of a novel, a boy approached her. "Hi," he said with a friendly smile. "What's your name?" Amara looked up. "Amara. And you?" "Toby. Nice to meet you. You're new, right?" "Yes. Just joined this week." Toby sat beside her and lowered his voice. "I saw you answering questions in class today. You're brave. But I should warn you about Veronica and her friends." Amara tilted her head. "Why? What about them?" "They're dangerous. They don't like anyone outshining them, especially in front of teachers. You have to be careful not to offend them." Amara frowned slightly. "But I didn't do anything wrong. I only answered questions." "That's enough for them," Toby replied. "They live on pride. Just be careful." Amara nodded but went back to her book, determined not to be intimidated. The next morning, as Amara walked to class, she found the bullies blocking the doorway. She greeted politely, "Good morning." Grace sneered and pushed her back. "Where do you think you're going?" Before Amara could reply, the principal walked down the corridor. The bullies quickly straightened up and slipped into the classroom, pretending nothing had happened. Amara quietly followed and sat at her desk. At break time, she returned to find her school bag and books scattered all over the floor. Pages were torn, pens thrown aside. The bullies sat at their desks, smiling mockingly as she bent down to gather her things. Not a word escaped Amara's lips. She packed everything silently, her dignity intact, though her heart was heavy. The following day brought a test. When the results were announced, Amara had scored the highest. The teacher clapped her hands. "Everyone, give Amara a round of applause." The class clapped reluctantly, but the bullies sat stiff, their eyes burning with jealousy. As soon as the teacher left the room, the 5 girls approached Amara's desk. Before she could move, Vanessa tipped a cup of water onto her books and uniform. The cold liquid soaked her blouse, and the class gasped. Amara's eyes filled with tears, but she said nothing. She simply held back her sobs. From the back of the class, Toby rushed forward, offering his handkerchief. "Don't cry. They're not worth it." The bullies laughed. "Look at her, crying like a baby." Amara's silence only fueled their cruelty. But deep within her, she resolved that she would not allow them to break her spirit. That night, Amara returned home defeated. She tried to hide her tears, but her father, Senator Daniel, saw through her silence. "My daughter," he said gently, "what troubles you?" Amara broke down in his arms, telling him everything: the bullying, the humiliation, the loneliness. Senator Daniel listened quietly, his face growing stern. When she finished, he stroked her hair and said, "Amara, you have endured more than anyone should. But tomorrow, we will put an end to this. No child, no matter whose daughter she is, has the right to torment another. Justice will speak." For the first time in weeks, Amara felt hope. Her father's words were like a shield, wrapping her in strength. The next morning, she didn't walk to school alone. She walked beside her father. Senator Daniel's tall frame and stern expression drew everyone's attention as they entered through the school gates. Whispers filled the air. "That's her father, a senator. What's he doing here?" Maybe the bullies are finally in trouble. The bullies, standing at their usual post near the mango tree, froze when they saw him. For the first time, fear flickered across their faces. And in that moment, the balance of power began to shift. Senator Daniel walked straight to the principal's office, Amara by his side. Teachers and students alike watched with wide eyes, sensing that the day of reckoning had arrived. Inside the office, the principal rose nervously. "Ah, Senator Daniel. What an honor to see you here." The senator's face was stern. "I did not come for pleasantries, Principal. I came because my daughter has suffered in this school for too long. She has been bullied, humiliated, and mocked, while you turned a blind eye." The principal shifted uncomfortably. "Well, you see, children sometimes—" "No," Senator Daniel interrupted firmly. "This is not childish mischief. This is cruelty. And it has been allowed to grow because no one dared challenge those girls. Enough is enough." Just then, the 5 bullies were summoned into the office. Their confident strides from earlier were gone, replaced with uneasy glances. For the first time, they stood exposed, their arrogance stripped away. Senator Daniel turned to them. Do you know what you've done? You have used your parents' names as shields while destroying the peace of others. You believe wealth makes you untouchable. But let me remind you, character, not money, defines a person. The girls lowered their heads, unable to meet his gaze. The principal cleared his throat. Senator, what do you propose we do? Senator Daniel's voice was steady. Discipline them. Let the entire school see that bullying, no matter who it comes from, has consequences. If you cannot, I will take this matter to the education board myself. The principal, now sweating, nodded quickly. You are right, Senator. Enough is enough. That very afternoon, the announcement echoed through the school. The 5 girls were suspended indefinitely for bullying. Students erupted in whispers of shock and relief. For the first time in years, Queen's Prestige Secondary School felt free. Amara walked through the halls, her head high. Toby walked beside her, smiling proudly. Students who once avoided her now looked at her with admiration. She had not only endured but triumphed. And though the bullies left the school in shame, the lesson remained. Thanks for watching. Please comment where you are watching from and the time in the comments section.